Hello! Today I want to talk to you about my favourite sport. I hope you don't all switch off of this. I'll try and make it reasonably entertaining. American football is my favourite sport. It's a game when 22 big, strong players run around like crazy for 2 hours, while 50,000 people who really need the exercise sit in the stands and watch them, like myself. American football is a game played by two teams of 11 players on the pitch at any one time, with unlimited substitutions. The offence, i.e. the team with the ball, attempts to move the ball down the field by running with it or passing the ball, whilst the team without the ball, the defence, aims to stop them and take control of the ball for themselves. The offence has to move the ball at least 10 yards in 4 attempts, 4 downs or plays, or else they have to give the ball to the other team, and the other team then becomes the offence. If, however, they succeed in getting the 10 yards, they're given a new set of 4 downs to advance another 10 yards, and so on until they score. Points are primarily scored by advancing the ball into the opposing team's end zone for a touchdown, or kicking the ball through the opponent's goalpost for a field goal. Now, I happen to support the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but the only time I actually saw them win the Super Bowl was when I was playing them on the Xbox. The Vikings, in fact, won their division last year, narrowly beating arch rivals the Green Bay Packers. In fact, there's a standing joke: how many Vikings fans does it take to change a light bulb? None. They like standing in the shadow of the Packers. We actually do have an experienced team. In fact, we have lots of veterans on this year's squad. Too bad they're all from World War II. When it comes, though, to comparing American football to rugby, one game evolved from the other, so both share many similarities, and it's all down to how one sport was born from the other. Legend has it that rugby was invented in 1823 when William Webb Ellis, a pupil, caught the ball during a game of football in rugby school and ran with it towards the opposition goal. Why he wasn't penalised is unknown. Whilst the authenticity of this story has been questioned, the Rugby Football Union was founded in 1871, and as chance would have it, the first American rugby clubs were established in the San Francisco Bay Area, mostly comprised of British expatriates, only a year later. And in 1876, a new set of rules saw the formation of the game we now know as American football from a variation of rugby's rules. Rules changes later established the snap, 11-player teams, concept of downs, later on the forward pass, the neutral zone, and the size and shape of the football. And rules were generally changed to or added to improve the flow of the game. Previously, because they felt that the rugby and American football games were being bogged down in scrums, so rules were changed to encourage faster scoring and improve safety. The Chicago Tribune newspaper reported that in 1904 alone, there were 18 deaths in American football and 159 serious injuries. Obituaries of American football players ran on a nearly weekly basis during the football season. President Theodore Roosevelt helped modernise the game by insisting on changes to improve safety, partly because his son had taken up the game. Many American football players are so huge that instead of numbers on their backs, they should have registration plates. Contrary to what most people assume, it hurts much more to get hit by players who are wearing this armour and padding than players without them, and here's why. Pads lead players to hit harder. When you're wearing pads, you can throw yourself with a level of abandon that you wouldn't even consider without it. Thus, both defensive and offensive players bring a higher level of force when wearing this stuff than when not. Also, they wear helmets. The helmet is a weapon. The football helmet is designed to protect players' heads, theoretically, but it ends up causing a lot of injuries and pain as well. Many of the most painful hits come from helmet to helmet or helmet to bone contact. Even though it's foolish and often against the rules to do so, many players lead with their heads in a way you'd never consider doing in rugby with your head unprotected. They also, as I said, have unlimited substitutions, and more rest means more intense plays and harder hits. Rugby is tougher in the sense that players have to play both sides of the ball continuously with very few breaks. However, the stop-and-go nature of American football means that players can get breaks and must play much harder when the ball's live. Rugby players frequently need to conserve energy, whereas a well-conditioned American football player can literally put out 100% of effort every play. I mean, I myself would have played American football, but I have an intestinal problem. I've got no guts. They say that American football players don't know the meaning of the word fear. In fact, I just saw their grades, and they don't know the meaning of a lot of words. Whilst amazing athletes and powerhouses, many of whom would dwarf most rugby players, the hard hitters of American football are not really known for their intelligence. One New Orleans Saint running back once said, "I want to rush for 1,000 or 1,500 yards, whichever comes first." One coach told fans that a fire in his players' restroom had destroyed 20 books, But the real tragedy was that 15 hadn't been coloured in yet. The coaches themselves aren't much better. One coach is reported to have said once to his players, "You guys line up alphabetically by height. You guys over there pair up in groups of 3 and then line up in a circle." And an American football coach walked into a changing room before a game. He looked over to his new signing and said, "I'm not supposed to let you play since you failed maths." Well, actually, he said math, because they're American. "You failed math, but we need you to be in the team. So what I have to do is ask you a math question. And if you get it right, you'll be allowed to play." Well, the player agreed. So the coach looked into his eyes intently and said, "Okay, now concentrate hard and tell me the answer to this. What is 2 plus 2? Well, the player thought for a moment and answered, 4? "Did you say 4? The coach exclaimed, excited that he got it correct. Suddenly all the other players on the team began shouting, "Oh, come on, coach, give him another chance." Goodbye.